So I met this person first when I was about 20, because he was a DJ in a nightclub, and he was a friend. Basically, we just used to stand there, dance, play music, and he did my friend's wedding DJing. He did my 21st DJing. I lost touch with him. I went and lived abroad, did hairdressing in different countries on the cruise ships and stuff in Bermuda. Came back, had lots of failed relationships. I got married, which failed because after 4 months he cheated on me, had another lady pregnant before I even knew about it. And so we separated. But around that time I actually found, what could we call him? I'm going to slip up and call him his name, and I don't really want to because it's, you know, however much I don't like this man. Let's call him Stumpy. Sorry, that's going to help, isn't it? Stumpy. He was short. It was Stumpy. Stumpy by name, Stumpy by nature. Stumpy it will be. I found him again on Facebook, and we talked every night virtually. We were really good friends. He knew everything about me. He didn't have to do any research like this, like they do. He got told it over 7 years. Everything I went through, my dad passing from Alzheimer's, my failed relationship, my failed marriage. He knew everything. He knew everything about me. So I made it quite easy for him. And he was married. He wasn't having a very good marriage. He used to tell me how unhappy he was, how he used to really, really go into detail about how awful and unhealthy, unhygienic, how she didn't look after herself, she put on weight, she didn't speak. They didn't sound very happy. And I used to try and help him and say, look, get out of your marriage if you're not happy. I was a friend, so I was giving him friendly advice. But he seemed to be messing around and treating her like I was being treated. He seemed to turn into one of my exes. So I said this to him. I said, Stumpy, you're turning into one of my exes. Do not treat your wife like this. If you're going to leave her, leave her. If you're not, stop leading her on. I'm done. I've had enough of helping you. I said, so I'm done. And at this point, I think he thought, oops, I've invested 7 years into this supply. I need to up a gear. So this is the first red flag, first big love bombing. The other ones were little ones that I didn't know. He'd like everything on Facebook. He'd put status comments on Facebook, try and crack jokes to me on comments. They weren't very funny at all, but he was always, you know, he'd send me flowers if I was down. We went out for a few times fishing. I go fishing, so we used to go fishing together occasionally. But that was it, really. But yeah, this letter came through on Facebook Messenger, and it was, I love you, I've always loved you, I've loved you since the first time we met, I've loved you on my wedding day, I thought about you on wedding day, and he went into all this detail. I was gobsmacked, and I thought, whoa, geez, a love bomb so big, it should have blown my head off. But obviously now I know what I do, I didn't know then. So I was flattered, and I talked to him and said how flattered I was. And that because we were such really good friends, maybe we could work as a relationship, but you need to get divorced first. Do it for you, don't do it for me, you do it for you. I do not want to be the blame. If anything goes wrong between us, I don't want you to throw it back in my face. So he did, he left. He lived about an hour away, and about a week later, he told her, and she left. She actually left and moved to my hometown with her daughter and his stepdaughter, which didn't help. So trying to be the girlfriend of a man that's going through a divorce is quite difficult. I didn't think it would consume me so much. It consumed me the fact that he would talk to me about her in a way that he would be putting her down all the time, telling me how unhygienic and all these really awful things that she used to do around the house, or she didn't do around the house. And I used to dislike her for it. I used to think, wow, I thought he was a victim of, you know, just a wife that wasn't a wife. They were like flatmates. And it consumed me how horrendous this woman sounded. And I used to feel sad that he'd spent 21 years with her and he could have been with me. Anyway, we carried on seeing each other. 7 months, I got sick, which I will go into more detail. It was horrendous. It was awful. So yeah, it got to the point where he did lots of stuff, said lots of stuff, and I will mention that. And he discarded me on the 5th of November last year. Discard day. Yep. should be a card, shouldn't there, in a card shop next to the happy birthday cards, happy Mother's Day card, and happy discard day card. So yeah, 5th of November, he basically said, I can't do this to you anymore. He said, I can't hurt you anymore. And if you look at the context of that, it's like, yeah, you can't, because I actually got strong. I crawled out of the black hole and I got strong. And I think he realised I wasn't a very good host for his, you know, parasitic lifestyle. My best friend, someone I'd known most of my life on and off, somebody who'd been in my life for the last 7 years, is a very, very good friend, my best friend, who knew everything about me, which is why he hurt me so much, because he used that. To suddenly one day say, I have to leave you now, and disappeared. I've had a few issues since with 1 or 2 people. Again, that's another story that I'll go into another video. But that's really what happened, is I trusted my best friend. And that's the hardest thing about this whole situation. You know, some people maybe meet someone online or meet someone in a coffee shop or start dating them. This was my best friend, and I'd known this man since I was 20. So that really hurts more. That the fact is that he used me for his supply. Why? Why? Was I his friend? Was I not his friend? Did he care? Did he not care? How could he have, as the saying goes, excuse my language, he pissed on his own doorstep, really. I felt like, wow, you know. So by telling this story, I'm hoping that maybe somebody can give me some advice and I can learn a little bit from what I'm talking about. Because to have somebody who's been your best friend and then they have the traits of a narcissist, and I get the traits of a narcissist victim, to the point where he made me want to die. I'm very honest, and I will put things in these videos that are very honest. I'm not going to hide. I'm not going to. I'm going to show you everything. I've got letters. I read my letters that I wrote to him, and I cannot believe the woman that's written them letters. I cannot believe me. I'm a very independent person. I don't rely on anybody. I've travelled the world, done lots of stuff, lived abroad, lived in the Middle East on my own. And I always classed myself as a strong, strong person. And people still say to me, Val, how didn't you see it? Why didn't you see it? You don't. You don't see it. You can't see it. Drip, 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 drip over time. And you just don't realise that you're in the black hole, and suddenly you're looking up, thinking, how did I get in here? And then obviously the only way up is up after that. Yeah, I'm a very strong person, and I've been through a lot. But he nearly destroyed me. It was about my self-worth, I think, actually. It was about how I saw myself. And people say to me, you know, get over him. Let it go now. It's not about him. It's about us. It's about how it makes us feel and the confusion. And we're trying to work it out. We need help to work it out. I did see a therapist for a while, but she wasn't very good because she didn't know anything about narcissism. But yeah, very confusing how a best friend since the age of 20 can use you like that. Normally, if you've had a best friend for 20 years, you may start dating them because you've had that friendship. You might be able to go back to that friendship. But for someone to just disappear, goodbye. So I really don't know what else to say about that. That's just how it went. Yeah, going out with a married man who has the traits of a narcissist. So, you know, whether he acts like a narcissist or is a narcissist, either way, which one he is, it was nasty. And I do hope that anybody watching this, you know, we can all get better. But yeah, I've learned so much. It's been a very interesting experience, and the bubble that we're all in, that nobody out there knows about narcissism, sociopaths, toxic people, what they do, how they act. People out there think that everybody has empathy and everything's based on empathy and love. You know, when I said that the man was still smear campaigning me, I got told, maybe, how can he must still love you. He must still care for you if he was wanted to. No, 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 he doesn't. This is, the frustration. So yeah, we're on this little our own little social community where we all know something that nobody else out there knows and nobody out there understands. So we need to pull together and we need to help each other. And the only trouble is like you can't warn them. This is a personality disorder that you can't warn people about. Like I said in the first video, this is something you have to find out first for yourself. You can't warn anybody. And in fact, nobody could have warned me that he was a narcissist because no one knows. I still can't warn anybody else that he's a narcissist because apparently I'm the mental one. I'm crazy. I've got problems. I'm mentally ill. So he's covered his backside. So he's going out there again, Mr. Nice Guy, doing the same thing to somebody else. And I can't warn anybody because he's done his smear campaign on me. And this is how it goes on. This is how all these narcissists get away with everything because they are coverts. They are undercover. And you'll never get them. And again, they're just somebody that you will never be able to explain to anybody else. And every time he goes out there and does it to somebody else, he'll never get caught. Because you cannot tell people how nasty these people are because they think, well, he's wonderful. I know him. I've known him for a long time. So there you go. So anyway, guys, I'll do another video another time. And I'll go into more detail about things that he did and stuff like that. And yeah, maybe make more sense. So stick with me, won't you? Because I do hope that, you know, I make some sense at some point. Right. I'm going to watch my telly now and chill out. Take care, guys. See you soon.